check. Test. 1, 2. 1, 2. Malt box test. Malt box test. 1, 2. Hey, 1, 2. Test. 1, 2. Test. Hey, 1, 2. Test. 1, 2. Test. Malt box test. 1, 2. Hey.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Rocket Mortgage FieldHouse, Cavaliers Media Day. Thank you all for being here today. Before we get started, a few housekeeping rules. We all know how we handle our press conferences. Raise your hand, give us your name and your outlet the first time through. The second time as we come through, you just need to ask your question. I'm going to turn it over to our President of Basketball Operations, Kobe Altman.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming. Before we get started, I want to give a huge Cleveland Cavaliers shout out to the Cleveland Guardians for capturing the AL Central Division title last night. We're all super excited for them. Chris Antonetti and Tito Francona continue to do a remarkable job. And I speak for Coach and our entire organization. We can't wait to see baseball in Cleveland in October. But congratulations to the Guardians, and just wanted to make that acknowledgement. I know they're still having fun right now, I'm sure. But with that, we'll turn it over to questions.
We're now open for questions. Middle section, Emmett, it's coming behind you.
Emmett Golden, ESPN, Cleveland. JB, this is, the first time that there's lofty expectations since you've been head coach here. Is that something that you will talk to the guys about? And if so, how will you approach your first season with lofty expectations?
It's about embracing who you are. So those expectations don't bring any added pressure. We have a talented group of players in that locker room, that support each other, that are there for one another and want to compete with one another. So that's what our focus is on. If we do the right things, good things will happen for this group. And, we believe that. If we play with the same spirit we played with last year, we defend the way we defended last year, positive things are going to happen for us, and we focus on that.
Kenny Rowe to WHBC Radio. For both of you guys, Kobe, the acquisition of Donovan Mitchell, the ability to go get him. Can you just talk a little bit about why you thought that was a good fit? And, Coach, how excited are you to have somebody that can create his own and add him to that starting five?
So, obviously, we're super excited to add a player of Donovan's caliber to this mix. I think, Coach has done such a remarkable job growing a culture here, a destination here. I think what you saw last year was a group of players that really enjoyed playing with each other. There was a joy, there was an atmosphere, there was a connectivity to the city that was really exciting. And I think everyone around the league saw that. And so when Donovan heard he was being traded here, he was genuinely really excited. And so it started a couple weeks here of great anticipation, and we can't wait to get started tomorrow.
And from the basketball standpoint, it's obvious what he brings to the table. And, again, going through some of the situations that we went through last year, in some of the bigger games, the play-in series, understanding a need of guys who can beat their man and create their own. And Donovan is elite at that. Having a guy who's still, relatively the same age as our group and our core, but a guy who has a ton of experience. And you think about how many players, numbers increase in the playoffs the way that Donovan's do, and, increase from 25 points a game. It's not like it's, 10 to 11. Like, for him to take that step in big moments, we're going to face those moments and be able to rely on him as well.
Chris
Fedor, Cleveland.com. Kobe, for you first. Do you believe that you guys can compete for a championship right away?
I knew that question was coming from Chris Fedor. No, I'm joking.
No, you're right.
Listen, I said this at Donovan's press conference. This year is not contention or bust at all. We're still a very young group, and we're gaining experience. I think we played 84 games last year. We most certainly want to play more than 84 this year. But this is a runway, I think, that we have here with multiple years, with guys under contract for the foreseeable future. We want to grow, and we want to add more playoff experience and build towards something. But you have not seen Darius yet in his prime. What does that look like? What does the internal growth look like for Evan Mobley? Jarrett Allen's still 24 years old. This group, we have continuity. I think we've added maybe 4 new faces this offseason, so we do have a level of continuity, but we added a really big piece. And so that's going to take time. There's going to be some failures there, but this group is really excited to play with each other, and I want to grow this thing over the course of a few seasons before we start talking about that. With that said, we're not going to put a ceiling on what this team can do currently.
And JB, for you, so much of last year, you guys adopted the underdog mentality, the junkyard dog mentality. With you guys having expectations now coming into this year, higher expectations, what do you want the guys to latch onto and embody?
It should be the same because we didn't accomplish anything last year. We improved and got better, but, we didn't win a championship. We didn't make the playoffs. So there's no reason for us not to have that same spirit. And you don't change who you are because of expectations. What we were last year, wasn't a fluke. It was a combination of the personalities and characteristics of our guys. So a summer shouldn't change that. So our mentality shouldn't change by any means.
Thank you.
Kelsey.
Kelsey Russo, The Athletic. JB, for you, looking at Darius's growth from last year, what's your expectation this season as he leads this team at point guard?
I mean, obviously he put the time in this summer and worked on his game, and watching, you can see how he has improved. The next step, and we continue to work with, is continuing to play the games within the games. Understanding what the opponents are trying to take away, but then the spiritual piece and the emotional piece of leading this group. We've been working with him, and every summer and every year you've seen him take steps in those directions. He's a guy that people want to follow. They want to see him be successful. So it's his opportunity and his responsibility to lead those guys in that way. So finding adverse situations and difficult moments, how he galvanizes the group. Hey, I'm talking about you, and pulls people together.
And Kobe, for you, talking about this runway, how do you manage then those expectations, because there is this excitement and this hope for where you guys can go, but kind of leaving that, like you said, that runway for this year?
Yeah, I mean, so aside from managing expectations, I think the thing that I challenged Darius with right away after our season was over is, how do you stay connected? How do you continue to grow what you're building as a leader here in this franchise? We're going to be 3,000 miles apart during this offseason. How do we stay connected? And he came back with some of the best players we have to Cleveland multiple times before the playoffs was even over. We had a group that came out to Las Vegas to work out together and support the Summer League team. We had a team-led sort of mini camp in LA, and then most recently in Nashville. And so that's part of our secret sauce in terms of what we want to do and what we want to do in the off season. Stay connected, keep building this camaraderie. And that was a big challenge, but I think we have laid a great groundwork heading into tomorrow for the amount of time that this group has spent together in the off season and really embracing each other. And so, I'm really happy with the growth and leadership from Darius on that.
Donovan.
Basically, they wanted to know how much more beep tests we got. That's what they wanted to know.
How many more beep?
First, explain to them the beep test.
So the beep test is our conditioning test, and we've got it a few more times, just so you know. Oh, yeah. If you wouldn't have asked about it, we wouldn't have done it again.
Yeah. They just want to play basketball.
And you just threw my man under the bus. Great way to start the season.
Joe.
Joe Varden from The Athletic. This is for either of you. We all saw the injuries over the last however many weeks of last season. But beyond that, when you got into the offseason and you did your deep dive into what happened down the stretch, I'm curious what you saw and what you learned from the postmortem.
Well, you go back and watch it, and our defense, I think, took the biggest hit. Obviously, you miss key pieces, and you're trying to adjust on the fly. But what you realize is just how fragile it all really is. Chemistry is fragile. The details of what you're doing and how they impact, the next rotation or the next step, whatever it may be. You realize how delicate those things really are. So, again, going into the summer, with an emphasis on how we can be consistent in that approach with no matter who the bodies are on the floor. Obviously, we hope, for health, but you're going to have certain games or certain moments where people miss. It's just the nature of our business. But how we can be more consistent through, those different type of unexpected things.
Spencer.
Spencer Davies, basketballnews.com. Hey, Kobe, just wondering, because you said on Donovan's press conference that you feel like you earned the right to, make such a huge move and to make a big swing. What makes you feel like you guys earned that right to compete with the top tier of the Eastern Conference, and what are you personally expecting to see out of this group even though obviously you've been very meticulous in the past?
So I mean, we have competed with that top level when we were healthy, and we want to continue to have that runway and that opportunity to do it. I think why this opportunity was so unique is Donovan's age. And we acquired him at 25 years old. And to Coach's point, he's already played in 39 playoff games. And that's what we're hoping to achieve with this group in terms of some real meaningful playoff basketball moving forward. And so part of it was opportunity, and then part of it was a conviction on the group that we have, the players that we have in this building and what they can accomplish. And then also adding a talent level with them really is a vote of confidence to what we have in-house.
Tom.
Tom Withers, Associated Press. JB, you've mentioned culture, you've mentioned camaraderie. They can be fragile things, like you said. You've spent a little time with Donovan now. How confident are you that he's going to, like you've talked about his age and who he is, how he's going to blend in with this group?
We're confident, or we wouldn't have done the deal. And a lot of what we do is, using our resources and our relationships to do background on people. You can see it from the top down. This organization has put, a high level of interest in character. And all those guys back there, and I say this genuinely, there's not one of them who I don't like coming to work and seeing. That's not the case for all places. So, we didn't have to make any concessions on character over talent with Donovan. And we had that information before the deal was done. And that's why, it's a credit to Kobe and Dan from the top down is like, we're not sacrificing people and the quality of people to just jump into something, where we can be uncomfortable just for a win. We got fortunate, that the guys that we have are extreme talent, but even better people. So being around him, spending time with him, he already had relationships with some of our guys. So we're confident that we'll make it work. The on-court stuff is going to take some time. Guys have to play together to build that. But from a people standpoint and personalities, we're in a really good place.
And if I could follow, a year ago at this time, you really didn't know what you had going into the season. You had a lot of pieces, what have you. How much does it help now that you've gone through that season and this year can be more about kind of sharpening the edges, if you will?
It's helpful when you don't have to do something that's brand new from a system-wise. So both sides of the ball, we have the majority of our guys who understand what we're trying to do. Last year, because of the changes we made in our lineups and things like that, the new people we added, we made a major shift in what we did on both sides of the ball. And this year, we don't have to do that. We just have to include, a couple of new faces, but a lot of those faces are NBA veterans who've already seen a ton of the game and understand, the NBA at a high level.
Marla.
Marla Ridenour, Akron Beacon Journal. Either one of you could answer this, but there was so much talk about when Evan was drafted about how his promise. Where can you see the most, potential growth this season?
I'll let you go ahead.
And JB's gotten to spend, I want JB to answer this, but JB's gotten to spend a lot of time with Evan this offseason. His commitment has been incredible of what we've challenged him to do. He was one of the contingent that came back to Cleveland multiple times before Summer League, showing his commitment to the organization and what we're asking him to do. At 21 years old, we're already giving him a lot of challenges, not only from the basketball court, but off the court, from his strength and conditioning, his nutrition program, all of this to mold him to be what we think he could be, which is a superstar. We're very excited about Evan Mobley here, but I think JB can speak to what he's been working on in the offseason, and he's about basketball, he's about team, about all the right stuff, and we're really fortunate to have him.
Our conversation with Evan and our expectations is he has the ability to be a superstar without being the leading scorer on your team, right? He has an opportunity to be the best player on the floor, again, without having to take the most shots. And I think that's hard to find, guys that have that capability, but he does. He can he can stuff the stat sheet, in every category. And, that's our expectation for him. We want him, eventually, and hopefully it's this year, to be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. Like, we believe he has that type of ability and can have that type of impact on the floor. So, very few superstars, which he's going to work his way to be, can be that type of player without dominating the ball on the offensive end of the floor. But we believe he has the ability, and will get there.
And I know how excited you guys were to get Rubio back. But does it add like another level when he's played with Donovan before?
Yeah, it's one of those things, again, our front office group and coaching staff and everybody, like, you do your research about guys before you acquire them. And we talked about this a little bit last summer, but, when you do your homework and you read up on Ricky, you listen to the things that Donovan said years ago when they played together. Obviously, then it was Devin Booker, and then it was Anthony Edwards, and you pay attention to these things. But, the relationship and how much Donovan, showed his respects for Ricky and how much he said that Ricky helped him, like, those are things that you don't take back. And, again, you get an opportunity to reunite guys who have been through those things and already have that experience. It just helps blend the basketball piece of it more quickly as well.
Bailey Burmaster, Cleveland 19 News. JB, I have to ask now that you brought it up, as things get underway, what level do they have to hit in the beep test, and who's lasted the longest?
I think Sharif won it this year. I'll have to leave D-Mill tell you the numbers of what the beeps were and all that, but Sharif was the last one standing this year.
Caris was second place. Caris put a good run in there. I got to give Caris some love.
All right, we've got time for two more down front here.
Hi, Logan Conger of WZIP Akron. Kobe, when you acquired Donovan Mitchell, what was it like when you were first introduced to Donovan as the person? And, Coach, how do you think he will affect the chemistry in the locker room going forward?
Yeah, good question. It was my first introduction to him was on the phone after we traded for him. Very good conversation. I think the thing that you realize with Donovan from day one is he's very, very genuine. And when I talked to him that first day, minutes after the trade, he found out that we were having a sort of a mini camp, player-led workouts in Nashville. And he said, I'm there. I want to be there. I'm excited to be with my teammates. I think you think about the authenticity that he talks about, his teammates, the city, this opportunity. It's real. And we feel that. And then his actions. I mean, since he's been here, he's had a lot of fun in Cleveland. Whether it be showing up to a Browns game. Unfortunately, the Guardians have been out of town, but he's a huge baseball fan, and he hopes to frequent the Guardians games. Those are real moments and touch points, and he's genuine in that. We're excited, and since we've acquired him, he's been genuine and excited, and obviously it's going well with his teammates.
Yeah, and the chemistry piece is noticeable. We watched them when they were playing pickup, and you could hear his voice. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but we kind of have a quiet group of guys, who choose their words very wisely. But he was there, he was vocal, he was communicating, and I think that's something that's just going to bring it out of the other guys. So I think immediately he has an impact there.
I will go with that last one down front.
Kobe, can you talk? Oh, I'm sorry, Dante Bry, FCB Radio. Kobe, can you talk a little bit about the process of going from rebuilding to contender status, and just sort of what went into, some of the main moves, right? You sort of built through the draft, and then you found yourself in a position, opportunity, and some of the talent that was already on the roster to swing big for Donovan. So can you just talk a little bit about that process?
Sure. Appreciate the question. I have to give a lot of credit and admiration really to our chairman and Dan Gilbert. After our 4-year run with the finals, he allowed us in the front office to really go in a different direction and, you know, sort of recalibrate in a lot of ways. We had to build through the draft. We had to be about something. We wanted to shift our mindset to a player development driven culture where guys can come here and thrive and feel like they're getting better. Even through the losses, there had to be some victories within the losses. We were really fortunate to bring JB here to Cleveland. He has completely shifted our culture as well, and so that was a big part of it. I think we always want to be opportunistic. I think we were certainly one of the most transactional teams. Hopefully that doesn't have to be that way for the next few years. But we were always opportunistic with our opportunities, and we're able to add some really talented guys through the draft. Obviously, I needed a partner in JB to help bring them to where they are. I mean, look at the maturation of Darius Garland. And again, we threw Darius into the fire. He had played 4.5 games the previous year in college. But we said we're going to develop him through a lot of minutes and playing the right way. And he became an all-star last year. And so there's some real credit to the coaching staff to partner with you on that player development kind of mode. And then with Donovan, we had enough assets to get it done while keeping our core in place. And so it's been a fun ride, but you needed total support from ownership on it. And now we're thrilled with where we are.
Okay, that's going to wrap up the podium. First player coming up will be Kevin Love in just a few minutes.
All right. Questions for Kevin?
Hey, Kevin, Tom Withers, Associated Press. Just curious, what was the first thing you did when you heard that Donovan Mitchell was coming to Cleveland?
Texted him, and then, within 5 minutes, we were on a FaceTime just talking. He was golfing at the time, but I'm glad he, was in the middle of the fairway. He took time out and just, we just had a conversation. Super exciting.
What does it mean to add a player of that caliber to this team that, is clearly on the rise?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we were, especially after last season, I know we had injuries, but despite that, we felt like we were in a good place. We have momentum on our side, culture-wise, just the entirety of our team, our makeup, the whole organization, we felt like we were in a good place. But you add somebody like Donovan, who has that experience, just turned 26 years old, is a star in this league. It just provides us the opportunity to take an even bigger step this year. He's somebody I've got to know through, just being in New York, working out in New York in the summer, but also, Joe Ingles, Jordan Clarkson, just being around those guys, have had a chance to, have conversations with him. I know what he's about. He's about winning. I know a fresh start is going to be good for him as well. But I'm excited to see, what he's going to do with this team. I think he fits in really well with us, and just who he is as a person too is like I said, just fits with everything that what we're about. That next man mentality, give it up for the betterment of the team. He just fits with everything we're trying to do, and that's what makes it exciting.
Kelsey Russo, The Athletic. Hey, Kevin. After your role defined last season and just how successful you were, where are you coming into this season? What was the offseason like for you? And just what are your expectations for this season?
I think one of the biggest things Kobe wanted us to do was to make sure that we just stayed in touch. So we, just, hit training camp off and running. I think that's the biggest thing. Obviously, just with some, with new faces like Donovan, we're going to have to, just play together. Time out there on the floor is going to be helpful for us. So there's going to be a lot of different lineups. We're going to have a lot of different looks, ways that we're going to play. But, I think overall for myself, just coming in with confidence, knowing who I am, having taken the spirit of this team, continue to build the culture within the locker room, on the floor as well. And then, again, just provide whatever JB and the coaching staff needs from me. I mean, I think, jumping into that six-man role and kind of understanding, where my minutes will be, who I'll be playing with out there on the floor, that I think from the start I'll be a lot more comfortable in doing that, just because I hadn't come off the bench since really my second year in the league. So, again, I think it's a different level of comfort, this being my 9th year here.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, Kev. Hey. So with you guys last year, so much of it was the underdog mentality, off the radar. How do you view yourselves now that you have somebody like Donovan and 2 All-Stars and Jarrett and Darius?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have the makings of a team that could have 4 All-Stars, right? Like I think people know what we're capable of now. If we put it together, we aren't a team that's really going to surprise anybody anymore. I think people that have played us and coaching staffs and players from around the league know what we're about. So I think now it's just, taking that next level of maturity, knowing that there were some games last year that, we let some teams off the hook. Teams played really well against us. Of course, there's always going to be off nights, but understanding that we were, right there in playoff contention and, a team that could have been playing, basketball, what you hope into May and into June. But I think, obviously I truly believe with Donovan, stepping into his role, guys getting another year under their belts, having continuity within our lineup, it's just going to be, I think huge for us. I think health is definitely the biggest thing. And, obviously after last year with so many missed games with so many guys, that's what really hurt us. I felt like we very well could have been a 50-win team if everybody had stayed healthy. So I think we can't forget that. I think, we really have to still keep that chip on our shoulder. We haven't proven anything yet. We still feel like, there is that underdog type of mentality. I just don't think, really at this point we're going to, surprise teams, because you look at our lineup, we have depth. We can play a number of ways, and, we got some young stars that are, I think, going to make a lot of noise this year.
What does it mean to have Ricky back?
It's amazing. That was, he's a guy I've, stayed in touch with, been friends with, been close to in this league for such a long time. I'm for me, selfishly, very, very happy to have him back. Because once healthy, he's a guy that really, I feel like, I really do believe he was the one who, encompassed everything that we were about last year. So, for myself and everybody, it was devastating losing him to injury last year. And, just having him back, I think is just that he just has that way about him, that quiet confidence about him that you know what you're going to get. And again, like building the culture here, he was such a big part of that last year. And even when he wasn't around, his presence was felt.
Spencer Davies, basketballnews.com. Kev, Kobe and JB were just raving about how Evan attacked the offseason. Just from your perspective, what are you looking forward to seeing the most from Evan in his second year, and how he can build off of that rookie season?
Yeah, I think just taking the next step for him, just with who he is, how he goes about his business. I think, having his brother, having Isaiah here, and speaking to his dad when we were together in L.A., we know what he's about. We know what he's capable of. He hasn't even scratched the surface yet of really how good he can be, but all the signs are there, and he's not afraid of working. I was saying when I saw him in L.A., when we were all there together, I thought, okay, he's going to make a big step. He's obviously been putting in the work. He hasn't been shy about showing up and putting the hours in, adding a little bit to his game. We know what he can do defensively, but the thing that stuck out to me was just, again, his size and his ability to be a shot maker and put the ball on the floor. I think he has the skill set to be able to do whatever he wants offensively. So, again, I think between, whether it be Donovan or Darius or J.A., Evan, we have so many young guys on this team that can do so much, but I think as a 7-footer, he's one of those guys that's like a unicorn, able to do it all now and be very special.
Annie Nikoloff with Cleveland Magazine. You've been in Cleveland a long time. I was wondering if you have any places that you take a new teammate when they come to town, or any favorite restaurants or places that you spend time here.
Let's see. I like El Rion. I like going to get pizza there. That's a spot I always take everybody. We drink some good wine. They take care of us there. That'll always be a staple for me, always a place where I'm going to go. Outside of that, I'm not giving away my places where I like to go and find solace and quiet.
Marla Ridenour, Akron Beacon Journal. Yeah, Kevin, just what was the Nashville trip? What was your biggest takeaway? And how?
I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't?
No. Yeah. I was looking forward to that maybe more than anybody, and I couldn't make it. Lynn Merritt actually had his retirement ceremony that week, and so I was in Portland. So that was devastating for me.
Well, what does it say, though, that Donovan came just like on the heels, basically, of the big deal?
Yeah, no, I think it's here. He wanted to get in there right away. He wanted to, be around the guys. Even when we're talking about Ricky. Ricky showed up, injured. He just wanted to be around everybody. Wanted to, feel like when we got to camp or we got here on media day that everything was going to just be off to the races. So I think, obviously, there's an excitement level around this team, even within the locker room. And I think just, Donovan being who he is, wanted to show up and put the time in and just get to know the guys better and be around us.
And I just wanted to ask about Darius. What have you seen from him this summer to see him grow in the point guard role?
Yeah, I think more than anything, he's really, as far as, I talked about Kobe wanting us to keep in touch and make sure that we're reaching out to each other, staying together, communicating. Darius has been amazing with that. I hate, it's funny for me saying these guys are young, but to be that age and to really take the reins and to be a leader, he's really stepped up in that way. And I think we saw flashes of that last year, but he knows it's his team, and it's his team to run. And then you had Donovan, another guy that people are going to look to be that leader as well. So I think between those two guys, and that steady, quiet confidence about not only Evan but J.A. as well, I think those guys are going to really set the tone for us. And each and every person, and player and teammate around that is going to step in and do their work and feed off of them.
John Rutter, 92.3 The Fan. You touched on this new role that you've had this year and last year. What preparation goes into that? How much different is that preparation, and was there any adjustment period that you went through with it?
Yeah, last year for sure there was probably 6 to 8 weeks, just to as constant communication, finding where I could best fit within the different lineups, and understanding what it meant to be a six-man or a player coming off the bench, and also I think the guys allowed me to be myself as well, and play my game, understand where I could find my shots, rebound the ball on both sides of the floor, and just be effective more than anything. Again, like goals coming into the season, last season was to be available. I knew that if I felt good, and you're going to get banged up throughout the season, but if I felt good, that I was going to play well. So again, I think going into this year, my mindset really hasn't changed, and I just want to help these guys grow, continue to get better, continue to win basketball games, and really that's everything else will take care of itself.
Kevin Hayden Grove of Cleveland.com. Good to see you. It's been 9 years. You're going into your 9th year. I mean, have you reflected on the journey that it's been since you got here? Have you reflected on just the fact that you've been here for as long as you've been here?
Sure. I mean, I used to not let myself reflect because I feel like you get complacent, and looking in the rear view. I'm typically my harshest critic and somebody that is reluctant to, give himself a pat on the back. But no, I think 9 years, there's something to be said for that, for sure. No, it's been amazing to see this thing, come full circle, and have a team that we were already excited about, but have a chance to win and win big. I think that everything is up for grabs and up for the taking for us, and I think that's what gets me most excited. I mean, this is year 15 for me, year 9 here in Cleveland, and I'm just excited to get to work with these guys.
Does this feel a little bit like when you first got here? Because kind of, you had that, the big three that was expected to go somewhere. Then you kind of had the lull period. What's going to happen? Now you're kind of entering a new era. Is that kind of what you feel like right now?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't want to say, I feel like once you say that you've kind of seen it all, that, something happens and you're like, okay, I was wrong. But I haven't been on a team where there's been like throughout the entire lineup, so much young depth and guys that are really talented, young and talented in this league. Obviously, between myself and Rolo being in our 15th year, and a guy like Ricky, just the vets, getting to play that role, but getting to see these young guys be special, that's new for me. And I'm having a lot of fun playing this part and doing that as far as being a veteran goes. But it's not, you don't always get something like this. So I think that's what, I kind of reflected on this past summer in terms of last year, was that, it's just, there's so much that, we said in the media room after the games, like you want to bottle it up. You don't want it to pass too fast, but time is fast fleeting. You just can't slow it down. You can't stretch it. It's not elastic. But no, this is what, it makes me, I've never had so much fun, going into work every single day. And now, as we get better, we're going to have more TV games, more focus is going to be on us, more attention. There's going to be that pressure, but that's when you find out who you are. There's going to be adversity. That's when you find out who you are. So I think that's the thing that I'm looking forward to most, because I think that I know that these guys are more than capable and up for the challenge.
Thanks, Kevin. All right, Ricky Rubio on the way.
Wow.
Kelsey Russo, The Athletic. Rubio, starting off, how are you feeling in this recovery process, and where are you coming into camp?
Hello, everybody. Really good. Been working hard this summer, putting in a lot of work. Let's see how it goes the next 2-3 weeks. Working probably some parts with the team and see how my mind and my body connect together to really go back out there and play again. I did a lot of stuff on 1-on-0. So at the end of the day, the contact part is going to be the most important to really see where I'm at. But I'm going to take my time. I'm going to go step by step, don't skipping any phases in this process because we've been working hard to really get what I want to be.
What was it like to be in Nashville with the guys a couple weeks ago, to be around the team?
Really good. Felt like pick it up where we left off. Me, especially in January, but them a little later. But it's good to get all together before training camp. So you come to training camp, focus on what we need to be, and already taking like some steps ahead that it takes time to really get all together again. And because at the end of the day, it seems like people think that because this team had success last year, they're going to pick it up right where they left off. It doesn't work like that. You have to work every day. And having the summer and getting together like that, it helps that process.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, Ricky, welcome back.
Appreciate it.
Do you, in your own mind, have an internal timeline of when you expect to be back ready playing again?
Yeah, but it changed every week. So at the end of the day, I wanted to be ready for training camp, but I knew it was hardly impossible. And talking with my trainers and medical stuff, they say 10 to 12 months, but it's a long range. So I'm just going to the next phase, which is back. I'm in a phase of back to train. Then it's back to play. So return to practice, return to play. I'm in a phase where return to practice. How long it's gonna take? I have no idea. I can tell you like 6 weeks, but then in 5 weeks I'm ready to play. I tell you 12 weeks. Maybe it's longer. So at the end of the day, putting a date. Of course, for me personally, I need it, but I think it's not good to put a date where I'm gonna be back.
So as of this week, is it January? Is it December? Is it February?
Oh, I wish I knew. Right now, I hopefully December, but who knows? At the end of the day, I may be playing late November. I may be playing in January, February. So, like I said, I don't want to put a date, but one thing that I'm for sure, when I'm back, I'll be 120%.
And Ricky, for you, at the time that you re-signed with the Cavs, there were probably other destinations that might have been further along, might have had a better chance to compete. What was it about this situation that was appealing to you? Why did you want to come back?
Well, I was in a point in my career where I felt comfortable here. I knew the people here. I knew where I'm going to be. And I felt like it was unfinished business, you know. I felt like we could have a lot of success last year, and I didn't want to miss a chance to really keep building of what we built last year.
Hi, Ricky. Greg Swartz, Bleacher Report. Donovan Mitchell had some really nice things to say about you from your time as teammates in Utah. What can you tell the rest of your teammates about Donovan, and what have you seen from his growth, just from your time with him in the Jazz, and now what have you really seen from him, and how much is he going to help this team?
Yeah, he's a bad player, a bad person, and No. I just pay him so he can say nice things about me. A humble guy, really hard worker, and when we were talking with Kobe when he signed me and he had the option to really go after him, I say go for it, because at the end of the day, I think he takes us to the next level. He's that type of player where all teams need to win a championship, and it's a player like him. You can give him the ball, and he can give you a bucket any time, but at the end of the day, he knows how to play. He knows to do the right way, and I think he learned a lot in Utah with Quinn Snyder under his wing. How to play the right basketball, and I think it fits perfect in this team, not just on the court, off the court as well, and I think you need both to really go far.
Marla Ridenour, Akron Beacon Journal. Welcome back, Ricky. Just one more thing about Donovan, though. Do you look at his game and think back to when you guys were together, and just what impresses you most about how he's changed?
He grew up as a player, but at the end of the day, his first season in the league, I always remember going in the playoff, and it's when, okay, you had a really good year, but then the playoff comes, and how are you going to respond? And I never seen him perform as a rookie as he did in his first year in the league, and that takes a lot of guts, a lot of inside of himself to perform at that level. And his first experience in a playoff. So he grew up, but still he's that hungry. He's that player who can go in a playoff and score 40-something or 50 like he scored in the bubble. And I always remember that series against Oklahoma, first year, Game 6. I go down with a hamstring issue, and he took over. I was watching on the bench, and he took over that game and to clinch the series, and it was something special, and he's that type of player.
And just when you were hurt, were you worried about, I think this is the second ACL, and then, just what went through your mind on what you were facing and how daunting was that?
When I went down, of course, the first phase, it's a lot of thoughts and a lot of going on in my mind. But then I set a goal, which is come back better than I was before the injury. And me with my own team, we put all together a plan where training, mentally training, diet, all the stuff put all together, and we have a plan to come back stronger. And I'm reaching there. I feel like I had the best summer I ever felt in my career. I even hired a chef for myself at home that I never had. So it's something that we have a plan all together to come back.
Hey, Ricky, Chase Smith, Press Play Podcast. How much was a factor having Darius Garland on the team, being able to come back and help continue help with his growth and his play on the team?
Of course, I love playing with him, and he's one of the big parts that I wanted to come back to really see his growth. But he's an all-star now, so he's on his own way. But of course, you always can help other players with my experience, with the ones that I learned from, and passing along. I feel like I'm good at that area of giving advice, and I felt like we had a connection last year, and hopefully we can keep building from there.
Thanks, Ricky. Doing good, man. Hi. Evan Mobley.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, Ev.
How you doing?
Hey, what was your focus this offseason coming off your first year in the NBA?
Really just trying to get bigger, stronger, maintain my health throughout the year, as well as really working on my outside shooting, face-up game as well, and also like getting the rebound and pushing it off the break.
For you individually, what are you hoping to accomplish in year 2?
I just want to win. I think our whole team is just trying to win. I feel like we didn't go to our full capacity last year, and I feel like we got a lot to prove this year. So.
And then when the Cavs traded for Donovan Mitchell, where were you, and what was your reaction to that?
I was in the gym working out, and some person in the gym just randomly shout out that we got Donovan Mitchell, and I was like, what? And then I was like, oh shoot, and then started texting people and stuff, and saw like who got traded and all that. So I was excited when it happened, and I think it's gonna be a great year.
Did you really say shoot, or was there another word?
Shoot, I don't even know what I said.
Kelsey Roos with The Athletic. Hey, Evan. When you looked back at your first year, what did you take away from your rookie year?
I really just took away like you have to really take the game by game. It's a long season, long stretch, and you just got to be there for all 82 games, hopefully more this year, and really just stay solid throughout it all, and not get too high or too low because there's so many more games to come.
And this summer, obviously, the Cavs signing Isaiah to a two-way contract. What's it been like being able to go through this with your brother and seeing him get this opportunity and see him at Summer League as well?
It's been great. I mean, we've been playing together our whole entire lives, and to get all the way to the list level, playing on the same team is like, I don't think many people get to get that opportunity. So it's been great so far. Me and him spent a lot of time together off the court and on the court. So it's been great.
Hey, Evan. Joe Varden from The Athletic. How much weight did you put on this summer?
I don't know the exact number, but I put on a good amount of pounds. Yeah, I can't tell you the exact number, but I definitely feel stronger, definitely heavier, and I'm gonna keep working and keep getting stronger and build on that as well.
How much better do you think you can be in year 2 versus year 1, and what do you think is a good way for like a fan to be able to measure that and see a difference?
I mean, I don't think there's really a way to measure that specifically, but I mean, I'm just gonna try to affect the games in different ways that I necessarily didn't really do last year, such as bringing the ball up. You see me on the perimeter a little more this year, as well as inside, obviously, and defense as well, maintaining what I did last year and trying to get even better at it.
Spencer Davies, BasketballNews.com. Evan, Kobe was talking about how you and JB got close this summer. What were your talks with him like? And just for you specifically, working on your game offensively, what have you added this summer that you feel really confident about going into training camp?
Me and him, yeah, we got real close over the summer. Me and him just had conversations throughout the summer, just really trying to get me ready for this season. And he's been really working with me with my face-up game, just really playmaking from the elbow area and mid-range area and getting to my spots and hitting them and knocking them down. So I feel like that's where you're going to really see me a lot this year.
Evan in the back here, Brendan Gulick, Cavs Insider. Just curious what you're most proud of that you accomplished first year here.
I'm really proud of everything I accomplished this past year. I feel like I did the best I could, and everything that went down last year was great. It was a learning experience, and I'm just trying to get better from it and come next year even stronger and harder.
Hey, Evan, Tom Withers, Associated Press. How did you do on the beep test?
I did pretty good actually. I made my mark, so yeah.
Just seeing you and Donovan and Darius kind of walking around together, just curious, what has it been like to get to know him right away? What is the camaraderie like already? How good does it feel to have him already?
It's been great. Me and him had a few convos here and there. He fits in with the team very well. Everyone likes him. So it's been great. First few convos he mentioned. I played with him back in high school. In like an open run in LA, and he remembered that, and it was cool that he remembered that, even when I wasn't like who I was yet. But yeah, so.
Marla Ridenour, Akron Beacon Journal. Yeah, how's that three-point shot coming along?
It's coming along really well. I'm happy with all that I've been working on. So hopefully this year you see a lot more threes.
Have you had a certain person helping you with that, like a shooting coach or something?
Yeah, in LA, I had a certain person I was working with every single day, as well as when I got here. They like assigned coaches. Luke Walton's been helping me a lot. New coach, Buck helps me. There's a lot of coaches that are just there for me anytime I need to go shoot or whatever. They're there for me. So.
And Donovan going to Nashville, I assume you were there. How important was that whole thing for you guys?
It was very important. Helped build team chemistry. Everyone was there. We all just really just worked out together and had a fun time as well. So it just was a big deal in helping with our team chemistry.
John Rutter, 92.3 The Fan. Evan, what was the biggest difference that you noticed from the college game to the pro game, and how did you adapt to that?
Probably just the whole athleticism of everybody and the speed of the game, as well as some of the details that go into each game. You got to get accustomed to, but I feel like I did pretty well adjusting to that pretty fast, and I feel really comfortable going into it next year.
And then how did having that playing game experience kind of make you come back and be a little bit more hungry this year?
Yeah, the playing experience was great. It was like a playoff game without it being a real playoff game. And I feel like that experience definitely opened all of our eyes into what we want to accomplish and want to get to. So I feel like this year we're going to be even hungrier.
Alex Henry, WZIP. You're very dominant and unique on the court and still so young. Who would you say some of your biggest inspirations in the game are?
A lot of people like to compare me to Kevin Garnett and people like that. I feel like I take bits and pieces from everybody that has a similar frame to me, and yeah, that's really what I really just learned from different players that have similar body types as me, that move as me, and I just try to take parts of the game and add it to mine.
Thanks, Evan.
Yeah.
Caris LeVert will be on the way. questions.
Kelsey Roos with The Athletic. Hey, Caris. Where is your mindset going into this season, especially with some questions at the small forward position, but where are you at heading into training camp?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited, going into this season at the beginning, building a good foundation with the team, with the guys, and I feel good. I'm ready to go.
What was Nashville like, and just kind of being able to be around the guys? And you were also out in Las Vegas, so just opportunities to be around the team this summer, kind of continuing that camaraderie.
Yeah, Nashville was cool. This was my first time being there. Obviously with Darius over there at Vanderbilt. It was great being around the guys. Vegas as well, and we continue to keep building our relationships and things like that. And we all had a great summer collectively.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, Caris. You guys won 44 games last year, made it to the play-in tournament, then you acquired Donovan. What do you think you guys are capable of this year?
I think that's the beauty of it. I think we'll see. I don't think anyone knows the future, but I think just looking at us on paper, seeing how we compete, knowing the guys on the team, you can only dream about, what this group can accomplish, especially adding someone like Donovan, who's been, a star since he entered the league. So I think we're all super excited, to see what we can accomplish.
What is it like to be a player surrounded by this kind of group with those kinds of expectations?
It's amazing to just be playing with the level of talent that we have. Expectations aside, we don't worry about that. We can't control that. But I think everyone on the team can say just being surrounded by elite talent is fun. Playing with great players is fun. It makes your job a lot easier. And it makes it more competitive, when you're going against those guys. It brings out the best in you. So I think we've seen that past couple of weeks. And then, as we've competed and as we will compete the next couple of weeks.
And then Kobe talked about you being one of the standouts coming off the offseason and the shape that you came into. What went into that, and how did you get yourself to that point?
I think for me, just being healthy, getting back to the basics, a lot of thought and reflection on, what has made me great over the last couple of years early in my career. And just knowing that, health is a big part of it, but also, conditioning is a big part of it as well. If you can play longer than the guy you're playing against, you have a step ahead. So I think for me, that was a big thing, being in great shape. And like I said, being healthy kind of adds to that. And then just, like I said, being here at the start of the season is going to be huge, just building that foundation going forward.
Hi, Caris. Greg Swartz, Bleacher Report. Is it important to you to be a starter on this team, or are you open to different roles?
As a basketball player, you kind of just want to be in a position to help the team be successful, especially when you're on a good team, like we have here. I'm very confident in myself, that I can succeed in whatever role I'm thrown at. I've been a starter. I've came off the bench. I've done both my whole career. So, like I said, I'm a team guy. I've always have been. So, for me, it's whatever the team needs from me. I'll be ready to do that.
And how do you foresee your game? I mean, you've already played next to Darius, but how do you foresee your game kind of mixing with Darius and Donovan when all three of you guys are on the floor?
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. Defenders are going to have to make a decision, every single time. Who are you going to put your weakest defender on? Who are you going to leave off of drives and things like that? I've played with guard tandems before. When I was in Brooklyn, I played with D'Angelo and Spencer, and I played with Kyrie and Spencer. So I've played with a 2-3 guard lineup before, so it's extremely fun for me. I love doing that.
Hi, Caris, here in the back, right? Chris Herring from Sports Illustrated. I wanted to ask kind of sort of the same thing. Playing next to these guys and the ability that they have to score, you've obviously been relied upon to do that before. Does this free you up to maybe do more things or to see different things playing alongside scorers like this?
Yeah, definitely. I think those guys have extremely high basketball IQ as well. I don't look at at any of us as just scorers. I've never looked at myself as just a scorer either. And, I think Darius and Donovan are both, high IQ guys who make the right play every time. So it's going to be a joy to, share the backcourt with those guys and learn each and every day from them.
Hey, Annie Nikoloff with Cleveland Magazine. You're pretty new to Cleveland. I was wondering, what are your first impressions of the city? Anything you've enjoyed exploring or checking out?
Yeah, I'm new to Cleveland, but I'm not too new to Ohio. I grew up here, so I love I love being here in Cleveland. I think my favorite spot is probably this wellness spot I go to called Live. It's downtown. I love going there. But I love the city. I love the the fans here. The amount of love that I receive is beautiful.
Marla, right now, our Akron Beacon Journal. Just wondering where you were when you heard about the Donovan news and what was your reaction?
Yeah, I had just finished a workout, and I honestly, somebody sent me Woj's tweet, and I think the first tweet that he sent didn't have any names in it, so I honestly didn't know if I was in it or not. So I was like, I don't know. But when I found out I was still here, I was super excited. I've known Donovan for a couple years now, and I love his game. He's one of the best players in the league, and he's so young too. He has so much more to still get better at. So I was just looking forward to the opportunity to compete, to learn from him. I love playing with great players, so it's going to be fun.
And you mentioned you worked so hard on your conditioning. Did you do something new or extreme or anything like that to sort of up your level?
Just run. I don't think it was anything too complex or anything like that. Just run and try to push my body further than I did kind of the workout before, the day before, and kind of just keep pushing it.
Last question.
Spencer Davies, basketballnews.com. Caris, when it comes to just the way that this last season ended, you had the injuries and all that, and you got traded mid-season. Coming into a training camp where you're here with the team and you had experience playing with them a couple weeks ago in Nashville and all of that, just mentally, how refreshing is that for you to start that way and to be able to build it from the very beginning from scratch?
Yeah, I'm super excited, man. I haven't had a training, even last year, I didn't play a training camp. I had a back injury, so I haven't had a real training camp in a couple years now. So I'm just excited to be healthy, man. As an athlete, you kind of go through injuries and, things you can't really control. And right now I just tried to, do the best that I could to have good habits this summer and make sure my body was where it is now, and it is. And I'm super excited to, like you said, be here from the beginning.
Thanks, Caris.
Yep.
They got it. I ain't trying to hear that.
That's what I said. I was like, I literally had to say, I was like, no, this is our third day here. What y'all, like, can y'all help me out, please?
You should have just named all like celebrities.
I did. I I did. I said Jay-Z. I said Jay-Z.
I use two mics for the last two. I'm going to be on one side. One person. We only got two more.
It's going quick. All right. I had no idea what to expect on this today, and it's just like it is. It is absolutely.
No, this one
it's like
really great.
It's like a farming operation, man. It's like in one side, do your thing, get sheared, and you're out the other. Thank you very much. We'll be up with the next person in 2 minutes. I don't know who it is, but they'll be here in 2 minutes.
Yep. Darius Garland is on his way to the podium. Is there a mic on? Is her mic on? Okay, you want to go on that side first? And I'll just point to you. Next time.
Hi, Darius. Greg Swartz, Bleacher Report. Right here. I just wanted to ask, I mean, last year you were kind of forced into, okay, all the offense is going to run through you for better or worse. Did you like that role, you know, kind of having that freedom and being able to shoot 17, 20 times a game? Or is it kind of a relief to know that, okay, we've got another elite offensive option like a Donovan Mitchell to come in and kind of take that burden off your shoulders?
It was fun for me. Like you said, I got to shoot 17, 20 times. But yeah, this year, adding Donovan, it takes away from a couple more shots, a couple less shots, but that's perfectly fine with me. I'd rather get my teammates involved than taking 20 shots anyway. So, I mean, last year they had to make me shoot shots. I wanted to come in and try to get my teammates involved, try to make them better. So, I mean, the coaching staff and my teammates told me to keep shooting and just go out there and just play freely. So that's what I tried to do. And, I mean, I'm pretty happy to add Donovan, so I don't have to shoot as many shots. So,
And then Ricky said that hopefully he'll be back by December, but it's going to be a couple months till we see him. Have you had any conversations with the coaching staff about you and Donovan kind of staggering at the point guard position so one of you guys is on the floor at all times?
I mean, it's a lot of conversations going on in the back. I'm not really worried about it. We have a lot of good ball handlers on this team. I mean, we got Evan Mobley that can bring it up and run the offense if he wants to. So anybody can handle the ball when they get it off the glass. So our main priority isn't worried about who's going to bring the ball up. So, I mean, I think we're pretty good off that.
Jeff Shudell, News Herald. Darius, you had to play with so many different guards last year because of injuries to the other guy. What was that like, and how much better will it be for you this year, do you think, if you don't have to deal with that?
I mean, it was pretty good last year. I had a lot of talented guys around me, so, I mean, it wasn't a lot of point guard situations going on, but, I mean, it was just a lot of guards that could do a lot of things. So, I mean, I think it was pretty good last year, and this year, adding some more talent, adding Donovan, I think that'll just take us to the next level, making us really elite in our backcourt. Adding Ricky, adding Raul, RJ Nimhart got a lot better this summer, so I think our backcourt will be pretty good this year and a lot better than last year.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, Darius in the back. Good to see you again. What went into your decision to sign the contract extension, and what emotions were attached to that, knowing that you got it?
I love Cleveland. Cleveland is home for me, and I've been telling y'all that since I've got here. So just having an extension and just seeing that I'm going to be here for an extra 5 more years, I mean, it was super cool to see that on paper and just knowing that in the back of my mind. And, yeah, I mean, it was super fun. Just having that out the way, and I could just play freely now. I could worry about just wins, getting my teammates better, and that's all I've been about, so I'm happy to be here.
Darius, throughout last year, so much of the conversation about you guys was off the radar, underdogs, junkyard dog mentality, things like that. How do you view yourselves coming into this year now?
I think we have the same attitude, same approach to the game. I mean, we added some more talent, so we're going to be hunted a lot more. We just have to keep our heads straight. just attack every game how like it's our last. Like I said, everybody's going to be coming after us, so we're going to be getting the best out of a lot of teams. So we have to be at our best at all times.
Thank you.
Darius, Tom Withers, Associated Press. I know you worked out with Donovan before the trade happened. During those times, were you thinking, man, it'd be pretty cool to be a teammate with this guy?
Yeah. I was thinking that throughout the whole workout. Just imagine if we was in the same backcourt together. And our last workout, we had a good one, and it worked out. So I'm cool with it.
You mentioned it before. You guys won't necessarily have a target on you, but you will be hunted like you weren't last year. How do you hope this season goes for you guys?
I think it's going to go great. I'm not hoping. I think it's going to be a good one. Hopefully we make it further than we did last year. I went a shorter summer than I did last year, so it'll be pretty cool just getting a couple more wins under our belt and getting that playoff feel, getting that playoff experience. And like I said, adding the playoff experience is going to help us a lot too. So, I mean, it should be a fun year.
Kelsey Russo, The Athletic. Darius, going back to your contract extension, what was that night like out in Vegas when you signed it and everything, and having teammates and people there with you?
It was a great night. I had one of my favorite restaurants, Carbone. So that's what started the night, some good eats. And then, I mean, just being there with my family, having my teammates there, and then just sitting in front of the organization, in front of Kobe, in front of Coach JB. I mean, it was just cool just to have everybody behind you and just knowing that it's a family thing. And I'm going to be here for a couple more years, so I'm happy about that as well. So it was a great night in Vegas. My entire time in Vegas was good, so it was fun.
And then for you personally, what have your conversations been with JB this summer just about your next steps in leading this team?
Yeah, our conversation has been the same as it was last year. Just to lead us, trying to take us to the next step. And that's always been in my back of my mind since last year, is trying to, what can we do to take that next step? What do I have to do to get our teammates into a better situation for us to win those 2 games in the play-ins or some of the games that we shouldn't have lost? So, I mean, I've been watching a lot of film, been with a lot of coaches watching film and trying to figure out what can we do to do better. So, I mean, my mindset's the same. Everybody's coming in more hungry, more passionate about the game, more passionate about this team, so we're ready to go.
Marla Ridenour, Akron Beacon Journal. Yeah, Darius, when you were talking about your workout with Donovan, so when you saw the tweet or heard the news, did you scream? What did you do?
I was actually working out as well. So I'm getting texts during the workout, and everybody's just saying, like, call me. So after my workout, I call, and Kobe actually calls me. It was like, we got something coming in Cleveland. I'm like, what are you talking about? So he was like, we just got Donovan Mitchell in a trade. So, I mean, I'm just running around the gym. I'm happy. I'm screaming in the gym. And he was like, you can't tell anyone yet, because it's a couple minutes before it came out. So I had to calm down. I had to just go get my towel, wipe my face off, and just try to act super normal. But deep down inside, I was super happy. I was excited for the trade.
And where were you, in Nashville, or where were you?
Yeah, I was in Nashville.
And just what have you seen this summer out of Evan that everyone's, like somebody said, I can't remember who, about you guys could have four All-Stars this year. Like, what have you seen that makes you think maybe he's ready to take that next step?
Yeah, Evan, he's on a mission right now. I think that he's on the mission of the Rookie of the Year campaign. So I think he felt that this year, felt that this summer, and he really wants to show the world what he really can do and what they missed out on last year. So yeah, he's coming in a lot more hungrier. He's a lot more stronger. He knows more about the game than he did last year. So we're super excited to see his jump last year to this year. So I'm excited to see it for sure. Hopefully for All-Stars as well.
Hi, Darius. How are you? Chris Herring from Sports Illustrated. Obviously, the team coming down to Nashville to train and everything like that speaks to your leadership. And I think Kobe was saying, the idea of wanting you to take that sort of thing on. What does it look like for a team leader when a team brings in someone like Donovan Mitchell, who obviously has the accolades that he has, does that become shared? Is it something that, because you were here already, that you kind of invite him into that? What does that look like to you?
I believe Donovan, he's just working his way in. I mean, he's been here probably a month and a half now. So, I mean, he's just trying to figure everybody out, see how he can fit in with his leadership. And I think he's doing a good job at it. He's being really vocal in practices or workouts. He's vocal in open runs. I mean, he's just trying to fill everybody out in the locker room. So I think he's doing a pretty good job of it. I mean, I'm trying to listen to what he has to hear. He has all-stars. He has playoff experiences. So, I mean, I want to get there. I want to get to those all-stars and playoff experiences as well. So I want to hear some of the things he has to tell me. And, I mean, I've been in the organization for 4 years now, so I know some ins and outs of the offense and the defensive settings that I can help him with as well coming down the line. So, I mean, it's very mutual for all of us. I mean, our team we're really together. So anybody can go talk to him. He can go talk to anybody else, and it's still the same mutual respect from everybody.
And as far as I know, you were saying that you're perfectly fine, giving up the ball a little bit more. Do you look forward? Do you think it'll free you up as far as spot up opportunities, as far as just seeing different things, being able to play off the ball a little bit more?
Yeah, for sure. Donovan, he attracts so much to the defense. So when he's driving or when he gets going, people's going to start overhelping. So that's when his teammates get involved. That's when they get open shots or they free up to make somebody else get an open shot. So Donovan has that effect on defense when he was in Utah. And, I mean, with the talent that we have this year, I think it's going to be a lot more easy for him and teammates to get open shots.
Last question.
Hey, Darius, John Sable, Fox State here in Cleveland. Kobe said moments ago that he's not putting a ceiling on you guys, that this is still something to build, that this isn't a contention or bust situation for you guys. Does that, take away some of the pressure, knowing that you guys now do have a target on your back and knowing the addition and knowing what you guys did last season?
I don't think it's any pressure on us. We're some young guys that's trying to go out there and win basketball games. I mean, I think the media and you guys doing your guys' job is trying to put pressure on us, but I don't think in our locker room we have any pressure. We've been playing basketball for all our lives. We've been working to get here, so just going out there and playing our game, playing a brand of Cavaliers basketball is what we're going to do every night, and we're going to try to compete at a high level every night and try to win basketball games.
Thanks, DG. Jarrett Allen will be the last one to the podium.
Yeah. Yeah, the only time I really missed on was when I had COVID. Yeah, I remember that too. That wasn't fun. Did you catch it? Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm glad we made it through.
Start back over there.
I'll leave that.
Questions?
Sure. Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, Jarrett. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
How did you approach this offseason?
Hate to say it, but like I approach every offseason the same. I come in with the mindset to improve my games in certain areas where I felt they can improve, to try to get my conditioning up. That's always a staple for me. Honestly, just like every other offseason, I've always feel like I've come in improving on something, so I wanted to stick to what I've been doing.
Is there something specifically that you improved?
Just trying to work on my offensive games in terms of posting up, facing the basket, and every single year is playmaking. Just trying to make the right play.
And you guys won 44 games last year, made it to the play-in tournament, and then you add Donovan Mitchell this offseason. What do you feel like you're capable of this year?
I feel like we're capable of, we haven't done it, but actually making the playoffs this year. Obviously, Donovan's been there many times. We've been on the cuffs many times, and we have that drive, that energy. We left a lot on the table last year, and we still have a lot of energy left in us to bring it further.
Marla Ridenour, Akron Beacon Journal. Great to see you. Just where were you when you heard about the Mitchell deal, and what was your immediate reaction?
Like all trades, I was taking a nap. And, I woke up with a text just saying Donovan Mitchell. And I was like, oh, okay. And I figured something was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be us, but I wasn't surprised that it was us. Kobe's always making, moves that surprise literally everybody. So, and I was excited. Obviously I'm sad to see our guys go that I've created a bond with, but at the end of the day, I'm glad to see a guy like Donovan come back in.
So did you call someone immediately to get the deal, or just check Twitter or whatever?
I checked Twitter. I couldn't call anybody. I had to get the grogginess out, but I checked Twitter, and then I called my agent, and we talked about it.
And just what have you seen from Evan this summer? Like, you're talking, some guys have talked about you could have 4 All-Stars this year. Just what have you seen that he's ready to make the leap?
Every time I have to guard him, it seems like he scores. He always scores on me. His offensive game is improving still from what it was last year. We obviously know he's a all-NBA defense caliber type of defensive player, but on the offensive wise, he still amazes us with moves every time.
Kelsey Russo, The Athletic. Hey, Jarrett.
Hello.
When Darius got his contract this summer, what was going through your mind of just him being a part of this group for the next few years?
Free dinners. He's going to be paying for all of our dinners for all of those events. And other than that, I was happy for him. I was excited for him. I'm proud of him. He's been working hard all his career. He's had setbacks that he's had to overcome, just people that didn't believe in him at first, and now he's coming to fruition to show that he deserved that contract.
What excites you just about, being able to play alongside guys like Darius, like Evan, and growing what you guys did last year, just heading into the season?
Just how much potential we have. It's a young team still, and we still, all of us have so much more to learn, so much more to our games that we can and need to improve on. So honestly, at the end of the day, the sky's the limit.
Hey, Jarrett, Tom Withers, Associated Press. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You gonna try to catch a Guardians game coming up this week if you can?
Oh, I actually went 2 weeks ago. It was nice. I went, I did everything, got a beer, got a hot dog, 7th inning stretch. Oh, I was there for it all.
I saw you there. That's why I brought it up. Hey, we've seen players of Donovan's stature go to another team, and it doesn't always necessarily work out.
Right.
Why do you think this is a good fit?
From what I know about Donovan, his character. He's a high character guy. We were the same draft class. Got to talk to him a little bit during the draft time. And just knowing just how he is, how he goes about his business, he's willing to help the team win. He's not going to try to carry the team by himself. He's going to try to find areas that he can fit in to help us win.
Hi, Jarrett. Greg Swartz, Bleacher Report. Donovan comes from Utah, where they had another very similar player to you, Rudy Gobert, all-star, really good defensive player. Have you watched any footage of Gobert and how he kind of worked with Donovan, or had any conversations with Donovan about how you guys can kind of maximize the partnership, since he already played with somebody with a similar skill set to yours?
I haven't really talked to him about that yet. I mean, he has the background of playing, like you said, with a player like me, so I'm not too worried about how it's going to mesh out, if there's going to be any complications. He's already talking to us about, or talking to me about some pick and roll stuff, so we're trying to get ahead of the curve. But so far, things have been going smoothly.
Hey, Jarrett, Chase Smith, Press Play Podcast. One of the common themes today is how everyone just like loves the team, like the community that's built here. Coach says he loves seeing everyone's face. Kevin, that he loves going to work every day. What do you think is the special sauce, like the secret ingredient to like what this team has right now?
Just our unselfishness. Everybody wants to see everybody, be at their best, even if that takes away from their success a little bit. We just want to see everybody be the best they can, everybody to enjoy themselves, to have a good time playing basketball, the game that we love.
Annie Nikoloff with Cleveland Magazine. You know, you play basketball, you also play video games, Pokemon. What's your favorite Pokemon and why?
It's always a tough one. I go through stages. Sometimes I like Gengar, because it's just a cool Pokemon, Sometimes I like Greninja. For all you guys who don't know, she knows, I hope. And Scraggy, I forgot his name. So those are my 3 right now. And Piplup. I love that question, by the way.
Hi, Jarrett. Chris Herring from Sports Illustrated here in the back. Hey.
There you go.
You guys obviously used a different sort of lineup than probably what you'll have now. Obviously, Laurie and 7-footer, basically another 7-footer in the lineup.
Right.
When Colin was there, you obviously played with smaller lineups before too. But how will this look different defensively for you guys with what you and Evan will have to kind of cover behind Donovan and Darius?
Right. We're down length and size with Laurie being gone. That's just part of the business, part of the trade, having to make it. And, I feel like Evan and I can hold ourselves down there, protect the rim. We showed that we could last year. And, I feel like Laurie's job was to kind of deter people from the outside. He was down in the paint, but he wasn't down there, if that makes sense. I think we'll be all right.
Last question. Bailey Burmaster, Cleveland 19 News. Jarrett, you have one of the more unique personalities on this team, Pokemon, video games. You're not here for the glitz and glam. If I believe All-Star Weekend, you got made fun of for wearing a hoodie on the sideline of the game. For the last couple seasons, you've worn some black tattered Kyrie 3s. Do you plan on wearing those this season? And what's the reasoning behind just keeping those? Because NBA players like to mix up shoes and change them every now and then.
Yes, those will return. They're not the same shoes. Okay, I'm not wearing the same shoes since my rookie year. They're a newer pair. But I don't know. I just, I like how they feel on my feet. I like that it bothers people that I wear the same shoes. I just like being myself.
Thanks, Jarrett.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
And that would do it for the podium sessions.